ProPublica obtained documents showing that two separate U.S. government agencies determined that ongoing weapons transfers to Israel are illegal and must be stopped. Yet, during testimony to Congress earlier this year, Secretary of State Antony Blinken lied about these findings. The U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID, and the Bureau of Population, Refugees, and Migration, both agencies that are housed in the State Department, sent memos earlier this year to top leadership outlining their findings on what was happening in Gaza. They both concluded that Israel had deliberately blocked U.S. humanitarian assistance and advised the administration to end weapons supplies to the country in order to comply with arms transfers law. Here's what ProPublica reported happened. Quote, the U.S. Agency for International Development delivered its assessment to Secretary of State Antony Blinken, and the State Department's Refugees Bureau made its stance known to top diplomats in late April. But Blinken and the administration of President Joe Biden did not accept either finding. Days later, on May 10th, Blinken delivered a carefully worded statement to Congress that said, we do not currently assess that the Israeli government is prohibiting or otherwise restricting the transport or delivery of U.S. humanitarian assistance. So Blinken made that claim to Congress despite being in possession of a 17-page memo from USAID outlining all the specific ways Israel is actually blocking aid and killing aid workers and bombing hospitals. Blinken was told by USAID that Gaza was, quote, one of the worst humanitarian catastrophes in the world, and that a starvation crisis was being fueled by Israel's, quote, arbitrary denial, restriction, and impediments of U.S. humanitarian assistance. But in his own report to Congress, Blinken said Israel had taken steps to improve the flow of humanitarian aid into Gaza. An absurd and shameful lie, according to State Department staffer Stacey Gilbert, who resigned in protest over Blinken's report to Congress. So here we have a top administration official misleading lawmakers to obscure the fact that ongoing weapons transfers to Israel violate President Biden's own executive order issued months earlier on suspending arms transfers to human rights abusers, as well as violating federal law and international treaty obligations. And I don't want to let Congress off the hook here, which wanted to be lied to. I mean, news coming out of Gaza each day proved that Blinken wasn't telling the truth about Israel's handling of aid into Gaza. But this is a cover-up of a massive crime, a crime of the worst kind, facilitating a genocide. And it goes right to the top of the State Department and the Biden administration. And the consequences of that cover-up are still being felt as Israel continues its genocide in Gaza and attacks on the West Bank. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our new videos. Also, if you want to see Means Morning News in its complete form, not just the clips we post here, head on over to Means TV and get access to all our new episodes and our entire backlog, plus tons of other great movies and original TV shows.